Good morning, students. So, after the essential requirements for a good automation system like communication systems and sensors, which are discussed in earlier classes, now in today's class, we are going to be discuss the supervisory control and data acquisition. So, it is simply referred as SCADA. Yes. So, this is the more familiar for all the students in electrical engineering. Why? Because we are giving number of paper presentation in national contests, national symposiums. Yes. So let us see in detail what is the SCADA, what it does, and how it is useful for the electrical engineers. So in this regards, as per generally speaking, SCADA is the one of the best tool to automate the substation. Yes, this is the completely belongs to the automation of the substation. Yes, so let us see here. Distribution SCADA. Distribution SCADA supervises the distribution system. Distribution SCADA supervises the completely distribution system. The application areas of SCADA can essentially be categorized into following groups. Yes, based upon the number of functions, it is to be divided into small range, medium range, as well as heavy range like this. So in this regards, the first one is a small SCADA systems with a selected number of functions, for example, for distribution networks and for electrical networks of industrial complexes. So a minimum number of applications has to be automated in the small SCADA systems. Whereas in case of the medium SCADA, so the medium size SCADA and energy management with full spectrums of functions for distribution and subtransmission networks can be selected functions for generations. Yes, so distribution as well as subtransmission and some of the selective functions for the generation also considered into account in case of the medium size SCADA. And the third one, which is the large scale SCADA and the energy management system, with an extensive and sophisticated range of functions for transmission networks and generation. Yes. So this SCADA is also involving more functions in the transmission as well as the generation. Yes. So let us see what it consisting and how it is to be comprised everything. Is the various components of SCADA system session. So that will discuss in the next slide what the SCADA circuit consisting or diagram consisting. When interfacing with RTU to existing equipment, the following aspects may be considered. Yes. So what is that aspects in the sense? Availability of potential pre-contacts and motor drives are actuators. Is availability of potential pre-contacts and motor drives are actuators. So these are for transferring the data. For physical equipment, data is to be transferred to the master control room. Some potential pre-contacts as well as motor drives or actuators are required. And wiring and marshalling, because physical equipment may be placed somewhere away from the master control room. There onwards, proper wiring and marshalling. Marshalling in the sense in order to align in a proper manner. Yes. So so that two-way communication is possible with the help of the wiring. Next, interposing relays may be eventually be required. Is next, measurement transducers. This is also helpful for us for converting the physical activity into the electrical signals. And buffered power supply. This additionally the supply is required so that the functions are to be going on. Yes. So when interfacing with RTU to existing equipment, the following aspects may be considered, as these are very important to transfer the data from the particular system to the master control room. Yes. Yes. So when builds a new substation, the integration of the RTU functions into microprocessor based station control system is desirable. So when builds a new substation, the integration of the RTU functions into microprocessor-based station control system is desirable. And these are the components in this SCADA. In this regard, the first one is the hardware and software. So in the diagram, which we will discuss in next slide, that may be useful what is what. So a typical SCADA system comprises the hardware and software. Yes. So let us see. So this is the typical SCADA system. So you see here a substation. A substation is to be interfaced through the cables having a on and off switches. Substation, in the sense, this is the high voltage bus, and this is the transformer where high voltage is to be converted into low voltage, and this is the low voltage bus. There onwards the feeders are going. So this is the entire substation structure, and this low voltage onwards the feeders are going to the various centers. So here the substation is to be interfaced through the cables. That is the help of the wiring and marshalling. It is interfaced, and there is a connecting and disconnecting switches are to be used. So those interfacing circuit. So there here for interfacing there is a transducers, RTUs, sensors. All those are used. Yes. So those collectively the physical activity or action is to be taking place in the devices, that is to be converted into an electrical signal, and it is to be transferred through the interfacing circuit. And in the interfacing circuit, the receiver side, it has the structure like this. Yes. So this is the data which is transferred through the interfacing circuit in the form of digital input and digital output, otherwise analog input, analog output. So this data is to be transferred through the RTU. Yes. So otherwise this data is collected. RTUs are there in both the places at the physical component point, as otherwise in same as. So this RTU, this data, everything belongs to the substation place. Yes. So digital input, digital output, analog input, analog input. Once the data is available, this data is transferred through the remote terminal units, and remote terminal units through the modem. Yes. Hello? Anna? అదే కదా మెయిన్ ల్యాబ్.